You told me in 2018 when we spoke at Oxford, you said, listen to what Hamas say. This is what you said. All you have to do is see what they say, you said to me. Well, I'm telling you, look at what Netanyahu says, Smotrich says, Katz says, Cohen says. They're all open about ethnic cleansing and genocide, Danny. You can deny it all you want, but the government are saying it out loud.
What's up, y'all? It's your man, World. Welcome back. Mehdi Hasan sat down with former Israeli ambassador Danny Ayalon and delivered a well-researched ass whooping. Danny would try to use all the debate tricks that he's ever learned while working in politics, and none of them worked. This interview is a great example of how all media should be interviewing people in power. And before we get into the clips, a question for you. Do you prefer politicians just straight up say what they want to do as they're doing it? Or politicians like this that would just lie about every single step of the way? And this is besides whether you agree with what they're doing or not. Just, do you prefer politicians who are honest about what they want, that just keep it a buck and tell you the truth about what they want to do and what they're currently doing? Or do you prefer the politicians to just do the job that they're doing? They don't really have to tell you anything specific, you know, for national security reasons and whatnot. They just, in their interviews, make sure you feel good enough to make it through the day. Let me know in the comment section. But either way, let's get to these clips.
I think we'll see the war crimes of Israel. We're already seeing the war crimes of Israel. I've already mentioned a few of them. Let me say this to you, Danny. Isn't the problem for you that you come on Western television and you say, I don't believe this. This is Hamas. The Israeli army would never do this. There's no genocide, no famine, no ethnic cleansing. This is about Hamas. Yet back home in Israel, your own finance minister, who is also a member of the security cabinet and the defense ministry, Bezalel Smotrich, he's quite open and honest about the plan. And let me just quote to you what he said in May. We are disassembling Gaza, leaving it as piles of rubble with total destruction, which has no precedent globally. We are destroying everything that's left in the Gaza Strip. We are conquering, cleansing, and remaining in Gaza. His words, by the way, praised by Netanyahu on Twitter that very day. Words that are a clear admission of genocide and ethnic cleansing.
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, because I think that this guy, this Smotrich guy, is an idiot. I don't think he represents the Israeli people. I hope that, and you know what, by the way, if elections were held today, he doesn't even pass the threshold. If elections were held today, Netanyahu will not be in the government. And when I want to talk about independent judicial system here, you know that Netanyahu and this government tried to change the judicial system to give more power to the government. Million Israelis went out to the streets. Okay. The Israeli people.
But you're not engaging with what he said. Peace. We are conquering, cleansing, and remaining in Gaza from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, luckily, he does not command the military.
He's the finance minister. He controls the West Bank. He's part of the defense ministry. And by the way, Netanyahu said on that day, well done, Bezalel Smotrich, you told the truth. Netanyahu is the prime minister of Israel, last time I checked, Danny. So I love this thing that you guys do. Israelis come on TV and say Smotrich is irrelevant. Smotrich is the finance minister of your country. He is in government. You are not, with respect. He is more representative of the Israeli government than you are.
Unfortunately, you are correct in the sense that Smotrich now is in the government, representing the government. Does he represent the people of Israel? I'm not sure.
But I don't care whether he represents the people of Israel. That wasn't my question. My question was, you can deny it's genocide and ethnic cleansing, but the people doing the genocide and ethnic cleansing, Smotrich, Netanyahu, they're open about it. And it's not just Smotrich, by the way. Israel Katz, your defense minister, warned last week that unless Hamas surrenders, Gaza City will, quote, become Rafah and Beit Hanun. It will be razed to the ground. Eli Cohen, another minister, he said Gaza City should be like Rafah, which we turned into a city of ruins. They're just bragging about their war crimes, Danny.
Mehdi, I hope you will appreciate my answer. My answer is that they are bragging to their own base. You know, the people that they support them are very, 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 hawkish on the far right. They're doing the talks as politics, and this is something that
Israel Katz is the defense minister, Danny. He's sending troops into Gaza City as we speak to raze it to the ground. You told me in 2018 when we spoke at Oxford, you said, listen to what Hamas say. This is what you said. All you have to do is see what they say, you said to me. Well, I'm telling you, look at what Netanyahu says, Smotrich says, Katz says, Cohen says. They're all open about ethnic cleansing and genocide, Danny. You can deny it all you want, but the government are saying it out loud.
They may be saying it, and I cannot deny that. But are they performing it? No.
Yes, they
do
destroyed.
not perform it.
Hold on. Let me show you what Gaza looks like. Let me show you, Danny. Let's look at what Israel does. Let's put it on screen. Have a look at these images of central Gaza from the air, from ITV News. That is what they did. It is an apocalyptic hellscape. That is genocide. That is what Smotrich did and Katz did. You can deny it all you want, but anyone with eyes can see that. That is what Israel has done. Wiped out Gaza, razed it to the ground, just like Smotrich said. That's genocide.
So this is not the intention. This was not the objective. This is the result of Hamas being embedded in their own population. Tell me,
you
why
wiped out the entire city? You wiped out an entire city to get a group?
About their people, they would have left Gaza long ago.
You wiped out an entire city to get a group? I just showed you the imagery. That's a hellscape. You've destroyed 70% of the homes and buildings. That's genocide.
Yes.
See, at first, it seemed like Ayalon was against what the government is doing. But actually, as the film went further, you can see that he just disagreed that he went out and said it in public. That's the only thing he actually disagrees with. The fact that those words match the actions that are happening. Because then it makes it hard for this guy to come on TV or Zeteo, a YouTube channel, and explain it away. Because like Mehdi brought up, he used to say, all you have to do is listen to their words and then match it to their actions. And now Mehdi gets to use those exact same words against him, and Danny does not like that. So again, what do you prefer? A politician that just straight up says, no, this is what we're trying to do every day, and we're not going to stop until it's over. Or politicians like this who say, yeah, I support the actions, but maybe we shouldn't say that out loud. It's gonna disturb some people's feelings. And maybe we should preserve the feelings, especially when we're not preserving life. And even though this is a very tough subject, war and genocide, the end of this interview gets pretty funny. Well, as funny as this topic could be. Because Mehdi's gonna try to get Danny to admit that Israel has nuclear weapons, and instead of just denying it straight up, Danny's gonna pretend like we can't see him.
Hamas was looting all the food.
Let me read to you what the Israeli military says.
Just to sell them
when you finish your speech, I'll respond. This is 110 looting incidents. None of them were carried out by Hamas terrorists. That is what the Israeli military told N12 in May.
I don't want to say...
As the line goes, the facts don't care about your feelings. Whether you like it or not, that is what the Israeli military said to N12.
No, I think that let's put one thing straight. I believe all the problems in Gaza, if you look at it, it's Hamas. Hamas is responsible for everything. For killing the Jews and for killing the Arabs. It's all Hamas.
You've killed Arabs and Jews. You've killed a lot of your own hostages too.
Self-defense and wars are not pretty. I can take you back to
I'm sure Hamas would say they were doing self-defense too. Every war criminal says it's self-defense.
Look like. But
this is not, Danny, this is not what war looks like. That's the whole point. That's why the world has turned on Israel. We showed you the imagery.
Wait a minute.
We showed you. Let's put up the images one more time before we finish.
Bring those photos in.
I'm showing you. That looks like. I'm showing you right now. That looks like Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Israel, there are enough people who are trying to put Israel
the pictures are on screen.
The fire, and this is not fair. It's just not fair.
Last question to you. You mentioned Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Back in 2018, Danny, at the Oxford Union, we had an exchange about Israel's nuclear weapons, which has since gone viral on TikTok. You and I are too old to be on TikTok, but I'm telling you, millions of views apparently on TikTok for that clip. You said you had no knowledge of Israeli nuclear weapons when you were in government. And yet this Israeli government seems to want the world to know about its nukes. You said earlier they like to brag to their base. Benjamin Netanyahu said the other day, if we wanted to commit genocide in Gaza, we would have done it in one afternoon. He's basically saying we could have nuked Gaza. His heritage minister said a month after October 7th that nuking Gaza was an option on the table. And he got a 12 or 24-hour suspension for saying that. Israel has nuclear weapons. Its own ministers and prime minister are admitting it. Why do you continue to pretend otherwise that Israel has nukes?
I'll tell you why. Because we have a system here, we have a message here which we stick to. And I can tell you one thing, and now really honestly tell me the truth. I can tell you right now, and I can tell the Bibi in his face that he's the worst prime minister that was here and I want him out. Do you see any Palestinian saying this to Hamas or to any other leader.
Palestinians are deeply dissatisfied with their leadership, and maybe Israel should release Marwan Barghouti so they can have a leader that they want.
Whatever they want. Our people know better. And Israel said, we will never be the first one to introduce military weapons in the Middle East. Why don't we say more than that? Because, and here I will tell you, because we keep an ambiguity.
But you don't. Netanyahu just said we could have. Netanyahu just said we could have killed everyone in Gaza in one afternoon. You can only do that with nukes.
Listen, if we had that, believe me, we will not do that. But
you do have nukes, though, right, Danny? Just to clarify, you do have nuclear weapons.
As long as you have a country like Iran, as long as you have.
But Iran doesn't have nukes. You have nukes, right? But Iran doesn't have nukes. You have nukes, right?
I'm very ambiguous about it. I don't say yes. I don't say no.
But you know you have nukes.
Because we want to deter. Unfortunately, Israel is the only country which is being threatened by total annihilation.
Danny, Israel is the only country in the Middle East that has bombed 5 of its neighbors in the last year. Israel is the only country in the Middle East that has bombed 5 of its neighbors in the last year.
I mean, I understand what he's saying, because obviously he sounds ridiculous, but if we think about it, he doesn't want to say, yes, we have them, because that's going to bring in official scrutiny, you would think. I don't know if that will actually happen, but that's what's supposed to happen. So he doesn't want to say yes, but he doesn't want to say no because he want to use it as a deterrent. He's pump faking like he got it. So we don't know if he do or not, but he's reaching for it. He's clutching for it. It makes sense. There's a logic there. I understand it. Obviously, I don't agree, but I could see why someone wouldn't want to just come out and say, yeah, we do have them. But as we already heard, everyone in the current government is admitting that we do have it. And if we wanted to use it, we could. So that's not as much pump faking as it is lifting your shirt and showing everybody you got it on you. So this politician is being kind of cute with the answer, while other politicians are saying, yeah, it's on me right now. What's up? What you trying to do? What type of politician would you prefer? Let me know in the comment section. Peace.